A white man said this about white people. A German white woman, H.P. Blavatsky, wrote The Secret Doctrine, talking about root races. The Germans are part of the subcontinent Europe, which is not a continent. It's a partial part of Asia. They are over emphasizing the importance of root races, the origin of the white race. The Greeks did not believe man had a soul. You know why the Greeks didn't believe man had a soul? Because they were talking about their own race. They weren't talking about Africans and Aboriginals because the Greeks weren't world explorers. They weren't conquerors and colonizers. The Greeks stayed in Greece. The Greeks learned from the Egyptians. And on the Temple of Seti I in the Book of the Beginnings, page 28, volume 1 by Gerald Massey, he talks about the Tamahu. Tama means created, Hu means white. This was on the Temple of Seti I because he was infatuated with recording the origin of races. The Egyptians associated themselves from as being the descendants of Atlantis, from the root race, the original people. So race is the only topic of religion. User 850, thank you for the follow. What do you know about Pike? Classic man, thank you for the follow. What's the difference between Atlantis and Lemuria? Lemuria is a phase of androgyny, when man and woman, masculine, feminine, was embodied within one entity, one semi-physical entity. Lemuria is prior to Atlantis. That's one phase on Earth. When there was a Lemuria, Earth was different. The temperature was hotter. The atmosphere was thicker. The air was thicker. Animals were bolder. Man was bolder. Language was not existent because man operated from intuitive knowing, and memory was null and void. There was no memory because there was nothing to remember. It was pure instinct, pure act. Self-fructification is a word. Fructification. It's a very strange word if you've never heard it before. But it talks about self-generating, the non-essential need for an exterior component to create life. The Lemurians were androgynous, masculine, feminine entities embodied in one, semi-flesh. They weren't solid. The earth and the temperature of earth was too hot, too high. The vibration was too high to be solid. By the time you had Atlantis, this is from the book Atlantis and Lemuria by Rudolf Steiner. Whatever I'm going to say next, just know you can read it for yourself. Rudolf Steiner. He's from the Theosophical Society, one of the original lodges that inherited the information from the Moors. Hitler burned all of his work. So if you want to know who Rudolf Steiner is, understand Hitler destroyed all of Rudolf Steiner's work because Rudolf Steiner was a German whistleblower on the Caucasian race, just like H.P. Blavatsky. There's nothing higher in the lodges of Masons than this topic here. If you hear this live and you're able to withstand this information, you will benefit. Once I end this live, I promise you, you might not catch me again unless you happen to catch this live. This live gets blocked from time to time and my account is definitely messed with. Follow the account that I'm following on this live. Rudolf Steiner, thank you guys for the roses. I see Queen Ra, I see YDR, Queen Raja, and YDR. Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the follows, Johnny Doe, and everybody else who I missed. Thank you. Races are the only topic of the Bible. Again, everyone has a fragment of truth, and I'm telling you right now, in the Quran it talks about Gog and Magog. In the Bible it talks about Gog and Magog. In the Papyrus of Egypt it talks about the miserable Asiatics who had to be subdued to the Caucasus region of what? Eurasia or Asia. They were called Asiatics. There was no Europe because Europe is not a continent. That's one of the many lies you've been force fed. There is no damn such thing as a European continent. It doesn't exist. It's fragmented parts of Asia. By the time you had a Neanderthal man, a complete polarized unaboriginal man, that was the result of Atlantis genetic alchemy, which was was extremely high in scientific achievements. Look at look at the movie called Doctor of Island Monroe. Excuse me, the island of Dr. Monroe. Excuse me. The island of Dr. Monroe talks about gene splicing with animal genes. Now, let's fast forward, please. The Caucasus Mountains have been located for the region where the tribes of Gog and Magog come from, which are Caucasian tribes of people. These people are in the Bible and they're in the Quran and they're in the Papyrus of Egypt for being initially extremely problematic, causing extreme bloodshed on the earth. Yes, Jackie Bond. Yes, I see you. The Iceman, Ian Williams. Exactly. Neanderthals are their story of origin. They had to evolve into language and to consciousness and math and reading. They had to evolve into that. They can trace that origin because they're actually fairly new. This is not offensive to white Masons. This is gold to white Masons, hence the Renaissance era. The Moors taught the Europeans their origins. The only reason why you have a Renaissance and a lodge and Masonic lodges is only because they are harboring the initiation sciences of ancient Egypt and something a little bit different called alchemy, a unique alchemy given to the Europeans via the Moors, teaching them how to what? Develop a soul. The great work, as the Europeans put it in the White Lodges, the great work, decalcifying the pineal gland. Dispositionally, the abstract race that came via genetic alchemy, via Atlantis, a non-root race people, they don't have a certain size of a pituitary gland. It's very small. They don't have a decalcified pineal gland. It's naturally calcified. So what happens? They have a guilt deficiency complex. They can blunder the world with war and atrocities and keep a straight face. They don't have any guilt. That's due to pituitary gland shrinkage. The bigger the pituitary gland, the more compassionate, empathetic, and sympathetic you are. Drip Sanders, always good to see you, bro. Thank you. Ian Williams, Johnny Doe, I see everyone. Golden Grandma, I see you. I know what I'm saying is riveting. It's not friendly. Doesn't matter. I'm speaking to those who can handle this. Queen Raja, once again, thank you for the rose. Soul and spirit are two different things. Lotus Flower. Isha, thank you for the follow. Soul, hey, Audric, good to see you. Dennis, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the share. Raw Dog, that's what's up. Thank you for the follow. The Bible is real, it's just really misunderstood by the layman. There's nothing real or unreal about it, it's just taken out of context because it was presented out of context. Dennis, I see you. Brian, I see you. Race, the Bible. Come on, man. Let's dig it up. It's here. It's in front of you. Spirit. Plants have spirit. Roaches, dogs, trees, birds, everything that you can tangibly see has a corresponding ethereal element that you can communicate with. That's what spirit is. It's what causes vitality, life force. Soul is something so much more different. It's attached to the originals. the original soul entities who came into the earth realm and eventually crystallized over time through the stages of Lemuria that evolved into Atlantis. They didn't exist together. It was one before the other. By the time there was Atlantis, there was no more Lemuria. There was relics of Lemuria. Let's understand how this goes. This is chronologically how it went. Okay, it's not that they were together and they went to war. By the time you had Atlantis, you had binary man. Man went from androgynous to dual. Man, woman. It was one figure at this stage. Not so solid, not so material. Okay? Less material, more ethereal, more spiritual, more semi-physical. By the time you had Atlantis, crystallization first began. The duality was locked in, masculine, feminine. Lemuria, there was no duality. K. Ashani. Get the book Atlantis and Lemuria by Rudolf Steiner. K. Ashani, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The Masons are infatuated with the origins of the white European Masons are infatuated with the origins of their race. Darwin was a whistleblower. His work, Atlantis and Lemuria by Rudolf Steiner. It's a thin book with a green cover, greenish cover. You must have that book. It's very cheap, but it's really, really important because you're talking about people who are from lodges, from Germany. Hitler destroyed and burned all of Rudolf Steiner's work. He died from a broken heart. Rudolf Steiner died after Hitler burned all of his work. You know why you have his work today? Because the students of Rudolf Steiner that were a part of the Theosophical Society took all of his speeches, all of his lectures, and compiled them into his work and recreated his work through his lectures. So if you don't understand how important this man's work is, understand Hitler burned down. Hitler was a German. Rudolf Steiner was a German. Rudolf Steiner lived in the time of Hitler, lived in the region Hitler lived in. We're talking about primary source documents. I'm not giving you no fluff here. If you catch this live, good. If you didn't, it's not for you. If you can get jiggy with what I'm saying, I don't blame you. I couldn't get jiggy with this stuff 10 years ago. But I promise you, man, just go down the rabbit hole. Don't believe nothing I'm saying. Just look at the books. Hey, man, please, 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 please. I'll be there in a minute. Thank you. Atlantis and Lemuria, Rudolf Steiner. This is the name of the book. Rudolf Steiner is the author. Kai Ashani, thank you. Audric, everyone. Galactry Minds, I see you. Aaron, I see you. Kel, I see you. Races are the only topic that Masonic lodges are concerned of at the highest degree, not 15th, not the 3rd degree, not the 21st degree, not the 30th degree. We're talking about 32nd and beyond, and 32nd and beyond is by invitation only. We had Masons in this live, every single live, and the last live, we're talking about pay to play. Lodges are about pay to play. Each degree that you go up is about money. And Masons are not all cut the same. Some will be ignorant, some will be knowing, some will be semi-knowing, some will be, it's based on the individual. So just because you're in a lodge doesn't endow you with the all-knowing attribute, okay? This is just what it is, man. I'm no one. I'm going to repeat that from time to time. I'm nobody. I'm sharing what already is out there with books. Get the book called A Book of the Beginnings by Gerald Massey, page 28. It talks about the root races. The Tamahu means created white man. It sounds bizarre. I get it. It's there though. This is on the Temple of Egypt, Seti the First Temple. You don't have to take my word. Forget me. I'm a big nobody. But Page 28, A Book of the Beginnings by Gerald Massey. This was written in the mid-1800s. Gerald Massey is a white man, not a black man, telling you about the origins of the white race. Rudolf Steiner is a German, a white man. I don't need to pull no rabbit out the hat. Masons are going to play secret keepers and gatekeeper games. But I'm here to give you something, man. I'm here to give you something. The Bible's an allegory for all the inner workings from within. Amun-Ra, the god of Egypt, is talking about you. Amun means hidden. Black. Black means hidden. Black doesn't mean pigmentation. Black means hidden. Beth El Ham. Beth means house. El means God. Ham means black. Black. Jesus was born where? In Bethlehem. Bethlehem. Etymology is your first key to unlocking the esoteric true understanding of things. If you don't know the meaning of the words you're reading, you'll never get what the hell is going on. It's called A Book of the Beginnings by Gerald Massey. Balance Healing, thank you for the question. A Book of the Beginnings by Gerald Massey, page 28. The Tamahu. Tamahu means created white man. This is on the walls of Egypt. So you got this idea of Yaqub coming in the mid-1900s from a North African Arab called Farad Muhammad teaching Elijah Poole. And you don't understand how deep this is because it's presented to you in the midst of hostility and the black and white dynamic in America. But race is the primary topic of America because it's the primary topic of the origins of life on earth, the Bible, God, the devil. That God, devil, and prophets and Bible idea is about races. It's about the inner workings of you, the dynamic between original root race man, original man, versus non-original man, non-original race entities who have a spirit limitation and no cosmic soul potential because they're not a root race people. Root race, Egypt, Atlantis, is about genetics. Yash Ninja. So how do we deal with the idea of aliens? Aliens are an external false presentation of soul entities. Soul entities are an old concept that is no longer a current concern or event. It was chronologically in the past. Aliens, something alien, foreign to the earth realm, is talking about this original 144,000 soul entities that crystallized into the flesh during Lemuria and graduated in their progression through the vibrational slowing down of the earth because it got colder. Man crystallized and split into two different entities, man and woman. That's Atlantis. As the earth got colder, the vibration slowed down and therefore more things crystallized. Lemuria, the vibration was higher, therefore the earth was hotter, the atmosphere was thicker, and every entity was androgynous. Self-fructification. Fructification means that you don't need any exterior combination of two people to create life. It's self-generating, procreating. Do you recognize how some animals have to travel and migrate to different regions and locations during certain seasons to give birth and to procreate? It's seasonal. That comes from Lemuria. The androgynous being, the yin yang man, the yin yang woman, Isis Osiris entity, they had to go to certain locations based on equator and weather seasonally to self-fructicate, self-procreate, generate life from within without the intervention of another entity, individual. Atlantis It got a little bit colder and more solid, and the split became now you have man and woman. Now you need intervention to procreate. This is how the progression happened. This sounds bizarre and weird, but I'm telling you, these are the secrets of the lodges. You were given this idea of 6,000 years old, 10,000 years old. The earth has been here, and Adam and Eve and man crawled out of, caveman stages to learn how to freaking talk and breathe. No, this is for children, man. The gig is up. Just like the devil isn't real, this bully, this ridiculous BS, it's over. It's time to get to the real stage. If you want to know what Masons know and what makes them different than the average person, it's this information here. You're believing the story time notion. You're believing the child story version. If you don't want the child story version and you actually want what those know on high, those in power, the tribes of Gog, Magog from the Caucasus Mountains, you will have to be able to digest this via literature. Get Rudolf Steiner, Atlantis and Lemuria. Get H.P. Blavatsky, Secret Doctrine. Religion. Exactly. Kuei Doll. Kauai Doll. Private Ryan, everyone who's liking, following, commenting, True North, Sabrina, Balance Healing, Mama Kim, Ian Williams. I see you guys. Coven, a page, Blue Ace, Greg Hanks. I see you. Sydney Woods, Coven. I see you. Queen Raja, once again, very much appreciated. Thank you. Incognito, thank you. Where can we get a list of these books? In this live, I don't do well with scripted videos. I don't do well with limited time videos. I do best with this natural, uncontrolled arena of where we're at right now. If you want to come join live, please request and we can speak and dialogue. Pamela, thank you. Everyone, I see you. But I don't do well with scripted videos and I don't do well with limitations and boxes. So I go live every blue moon. If you catch this, you've caught something that is valuable, not because it's me, but because of the information. I'm no one. Again, I'm nobody. Just take me as a figure and less of a figure and more of a portal of information. I'm no one.